Alright, Pointe class. So today this video is going to be for working on your pirouettes. I know you have some of those in your dance, and pirouettes on Pointe are always a fun thing to practice. And so we're going to work on some of those. So I think all of you are in my ballet tech class. So if you haven't already, for this week I did a video on pirouettes. And so a lot of the things that I said in there really are crucial for doing pirouettes on Pointe. Partly because, you know, you have another block of, like, you're up on your toe, right? And so you don't kind of have like the ball of your foot, you're just like propped up on this box. And so your center of balance and your center, you know, gravity has to be like super precise to stay up there. But also I think more so than that, turning on Pointe is just kind of scary, and so I think sometimes our fear gets in the way of like really attacking and going for that. So I think, you know, I talked about this before when I subbed for your classes, and I'm sure Miss Tracy had talked about it too. You know, you kind of just have to go for it and attack it, and you know, obviously it takes a little bit more energy to get up there on Pointe than it does just to get on your demi-pointe when you're not wearing pointe shoes. And so part of it is just kind of getting over that mental fear, for sure. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the mechanics of a pirouette. Trying to get the right camera angle here. So I'm going to talk about some of the mechanics of a pirouette, and some of these things are also in the video that I have for Ballet Tech 4 today. So really, really important for anything in dance, and I talk about this all the time, is connecting to your core and pulling up through the lower abdominal. So you know, if you're not connecting to that core, engaging your core, you're not going to be, you know, like, and it just throws everything off, right? It's harder to get yourself up there, it's harder to move fast, it's harder to balance. You know, that's the center of balance, that's the center of gravity. So you need to make sure that whenever you go into your tendu or your preparation or whatever it is, if you go from fifth or from fourth, that you are pulling and lifting out of those hips and getting taller and taller. Even as you plie, especially as you plie, you're getting taller, pulling up out of the hips, pulling that navel to the spine, and practicing that. So if anything, if that's something that you know you struggle with, go ahead and just play with however your preparation is in your dance. But especially in fourth, feeling how that feels to connect before you do your pirouette, and making sure that that's kind of instilled into your muscle memory. Also, I talk about a lot the distribution of your weight. So if you're going up onto Pointe, you do not want a lot of weight in your back leg when you're preparing for that pirouette, right? Because what happens is, if your weight's back here, in order to get up onto Pointe, you have to go forward and then up, and we just want to go up, right? Especially when you have an extra, you know, inch or two to get up onto with your pointe shoe. And so you want to make sure that your weight is forward so that you can go straight up and not, you know, doing that little weight shift, but you don't want to have to do that in your preparation. So pulling up out of your hips, making sure your weight is over your front foot. Mostly you're going to have weight in your back foot, but you want to make sure that you're at that perfect spot so that you can go straight up. Connecting your arms. Your arms are not neutral in a turn. They either help you or they hurt you. So you need to make sure that they are connected to your back and anchored so that you can hold them here, right? You don't just hold them here by their own free will, right? You anchor them to your back muscles, keeping those elbows lifted, making sure that your palms are not, you know, crossing, or your elbows are drooping. You want to make sure that your fingers are not quite touching, but almost, that you have a lot of space here. We don't want our first position to be like, you know, here. It's like going back to when we first learned first position, like holding your big beach ball, creating lots of space, making sure your shoulders are down and your neck is elongated. Yeah, so all those things are super important. Making sure that your turnout muscles are engaged. Another really important one for not doing like a jazz turn, right? We don't want our knees to be front or even hanging out here. We want them to be side, as far side as they can go. And in order to do that, you have to be engaging your turnout muscles, and you don't start engaging them when you releve. You start engaging them, hopefully always, when you're dancing. You should always be, you know, working on that turnout, engaging all those muscles, but especially in your preparation, right? So in your preparation, not only are you engaging your core, but also those turnout muscles so that you're setting yourself up to keep that knee side. What else am I missing? Let's see. So this is also true with a regular pirouette. Spotting, maybe even more so important with a pirouette with a pirouette on point, because once you get that like center of gravity, I'm sure all of you know that you could spin forever, right? Like it's so much easier to get up and around. You don't need as much force to do as many turns on point, and so you want to make sure that your spot is sharp and concise. So if you know that you have a weaker spot, right? If you're like have a habit of maybe looking at your feet in the mirror or looking at yourself in the mirror and you're not actually focusing on that sharp movement of your head, go ahead and try to work on that. If you know that you have maybe like a little dip of the head or maybe a weird, you know, not straight, you know, like level chin, you want to make sure that you're honing in on that too, because that will help you as well, you know, having that perfect spot. And then last thing for pirouette on point, before we put it into practice and before I give you a combination, is really just to go for it. You do need more momentum to get up onto that box, right? And so don't be afraid of it. I think when we're afraid of it, we end up not getting fully on it, or we end up with bent legs, bent supporting legs, or we just end up, you know, kind of faking ourselves out of the turn and falling over. So really, in the comfort of your own home right now, find a safe space and just practice them, right? Practice them maybe with a bar or, you know, just without anyone watching you. Hone in on those details. And yeah, so we're gonna do a combination, super simple, just tendu preparation. We're gonna do a couple balances and a couple turns. So, yeah, so we're just gonna start in fifth. I guess I'll mirror you. So sit in fifth with our right foot forward. We're gonna tendu, prep, take some time to think here, keeping all of those things engaged, and then just a balance. Land in fifth. And then other side, prep, balance, fifth. We're gonna balance 4 times. So 2 times on each side. So balance again, fifth, up, and tendu, fourth, up, down. And then we're gonna do some turns. So we'll do all of that again except for with a single turn. So turn, land in fifth, tendu, turn, land in fifth, and then again each side. Turn, land in fifth, tendu, turn, land in fifth. And then I'm not quite sure if you guys are working on your double pirouettes on point. If you are, let's go ahead and do one more on the right, one more on the left, but doubles. So we'll do tendu, double. Okay, good, it's still going. My sister has a low battery thing. Okay, sorry. So we'll do a double pirouette, land, tendu, double pirouette, land. If you're not working on your doubles, just do a single on each side. One more. All right, so let me put on a song. Get yourself ready for all of this. Okay, ready? Oh, hold on. And tendu, prep, up, down. Tendu. Balancing on each side one more time. Really pushing into that floor, lifting up. Good, now our singles. Single, land. Single, land, single on each side one more time. And either doubles or singles. Good. All right, awesome. So go ahead and practice that combination multiple times. You could set it to your own music, break it down, slow it down, but try to be thinking about all of those elements. I know it's a lot to think about at once, but you guys probably already have some of them down, so figure out which ones you need to work on. And you know, really, like, dance is all about kind of problem solving, what is working and what's not working. So every time you go to practice a move, whether it's pirouettes or anything else, you kind of have to pinpoint what's not working for me and where can I improve, and make a different choice, right? Each time, is it the balance of your weight? Is it your spot? Are you not connecting? Are you afraid? You know, figure out what it is for you, and then yeah, then work on it, experiment with it, and then once you get it and you do it the way, you know, you get the result that you want to get, do it 10 more times with that same result. You know, I always say practice makes permanent, and so the more you do it the correct way, the more that's going to get ingrained into your body, and the more you're going to build the strength for it. So don't forget to do your foot exercises and your strengthening exercises, and then also there's tons of resources on YouTube and online and everywhere for stuff like that. All right, so have fun.